Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. Today's video is going to be the last part of the three for week 5 Project Life. So this week was a little bit longer in case you haven't caught the other videos and you're just kind of finding this video now. But there's 2 other parts because this is the week that not only did Imbolc happen, but also, I went to New Orleans for the second time. And this was also Mardi Gras. So there was a lot to capture. Jeff also has family there. So we had lots of side family excursions and things of that nature. So lots of memories to capture, lots of thoughts, lots of journaling, all that good stuff. So it was definitely something that needed to be spread out into multiple videos, or else we'd all be sitting here for 4 hours listening to me talk, which we don't know what to do, I don't think. So like I said, this is the last part of 3. I do have 2 12x12 spreads that I'm going to do, and that's going to be a separate video as well because I always separate the pocket pages from the 12x12s. So that will come eventually. I'm not 100% sure when that's going to be yet in my upload schedule, but it's a work in progress. So on to the actual spread that we're working on. So this is the first of 2 that we're going to do. This spread is all about, literally, this is one day. I managed to get all of one day onto this one spread. This is February the 3rd. So we woke up and Roxy's cute little self. So Roxy is his uncle's cat. She's indoor, outdoor. So she's outdoor most of the day and then comes in at night. She is absolutely hilarious because she doesn't have a tail, which is similar to my cat, although 2 different reasons. So my cat is a Manx. So she has kind of a little nubbin that has a ton of personality. Roxy, on the other hand, had hers amputated when she was a kitten for health reasons. So it's kind of frayed at the end, but she is absolutely precious and so sweet. I was actually very shocked because I believe the first time that we stayed with Donnie, she did not really come out, I think, at any point, and she had a puppy brother, a dog brother back then as well. So I don't even really remember seeing Roxy much, the first time we went down there a few years ago. But this time she literally was in the bed or on our suitcases every single night. She was very close, which made me miss my kitty a little bit less because at least I had kind of a comfort blanket filler. But she was super cute in this little picture because she was just standing in the hallway with her paws together and looked very much like, "Good morning. How can I help you? Can I brew your coffee? What would you like for breakfast?" She looked very ready to take an order. So I thought that was just so stinking cute. And then we went to Gerald's for breakfast, which is the photo that I'm working on now. This was kind of cute and quaint. It was this little local kind of coffee shop, donut shop. And I fully regret the fact that I did not get a donut there, but I was very full for my croissant at the time. And one thing about traveling, and especially I've noticed this kind of with his family, is, and by his, I mean Jeff's family, which is my partner, his family eats constantly. We're always cooking and we're always doing, and that's a great atmosphere to be in. Absolutely wonderful, but you are literally stuffed and you have to make solid choices about not eating too much because you're going to eat again in 30 seconds. It's ridiculous. And of course you can always decline food, but it's really hard to do that. So we went to Gerald's and we got a quick little breakfast. And then we headed off to the den. And I'll talk about the journaling cards and all of that. So hold on, I got to back up a bit. So we went to Gerald's and then we went back to the house, which was really close, because Donnie was getting ready. And then from there, we went to this bead store. And I don't really know, this was probably one of my absolute I every day had such amazing adventures and highs, so it's so hard for me to say how this was one of my favorite things, but going to the bead store ended up being one of my favorite things because it's just not it's kind of I don't know how to describe it really. It's the things that you don't think about necessarily that go into like a big event like Mardi Gras or anything like that, like the behind the scenes aspects of things. So there's this massive bead store where there's just bags and bags and bags and bags of every kind of bead you can think of. And then the walls are lined with like ornate beads. There's certain crew sections, so you can get something that is a little bit more geared toward your crew. So for example, and I know a lot of crews even have custom beads done. For example, Femme Fatale does a lot of like black and white and red and lots of lips. So like kiss mark lips. And I like those are everywhere. Like the store has hats and masks and stuffed animals and big giant felt flowers and balls and everything, every freaking thing you can think of. And a lot of crews buy these things and then they have their like logos and things put on them as well. So that all happens. But when the bead store opens, it's kind of like complete pandemonium and there's like a giant line, but it moves super fast. You are in there with a lot of other people, and sometimes it's like people from your crew that you run into because you're usually there kind of like last minute the day before. But essentially, we went to the bead store and I found a couple really cute things that I wanted to get for myself as like little souvenirs, like little small trinkets. Picked up something for Taylor for her Happy Meal in October when I see her. That I think that she would like. So little things like that, and really just like gawking at everything. The boys were really quick in what they needed to pick out because they're boys and they shop pretty quickly. Donnie had given Jeff a good bit of advice on what to grab. By the way, none of this is mentioned in the cards. I'm just giving you guys some awesome backstory here. And then Jeff let me pick out my mask. So a lot of times you buy like a few masks to give to kind of like the pretty ladies. And Donnie was like, you know, we'll throw them at the hot girls basically. So inappropriate. But Jeff let me pick out my mask that he would give me off the float, which I thought was really, really nice. Which you'll see a picture of me in the next spread, which is cool. So I picked out my mask, and he knew what I was wearing. So it was really cool to like kind of coordinate that together a little bit. And then we left and we went to the den, which is the pictures that you see in the middle row of us on this giant float way up in the air. So there's a picture of Jeff and I together, which is adorable and was so much fun. I need to explain this because I truly, in my brain, I don't know what in the world I expected. So when they told me that we were going to go to the den and see the float and let them like unpack all of the things that had already been ordered for them, like the beads and the throws and all that, and for them to organize it the day before and kind of like have eyes on it, have hands on it versus just getting there the day of and like running out too early and not, you know, having your setup ready. So, and me being a planner babe, I'm totally down with this. So I get there and I don't know. Again, I don't know what I expected. I can definitely tell you I didn't expect like 20 plus floats that were gigantic. I did not expect them all to be that ornate. I think in my head, I thought that it was one float that the crew rode on in a big parade. I did not realize that like each crew had a parade. That was the disconnect. And I mean, this is just, you know, first Mardi Gras 101, things that you don't think about. So we get there and there's 20 plus floats in this Crew of Carrollton den. They are the most beautiful ornate things I've ever seen. There's different themes all over the place. I lost my mind when I got to the float that was Star Wars themed. Completely lost my mind. As a super nerd, it was really cool because this was the whole preface of this that is really important to understand is that this was the 100th year that this crew had ridden. So there was 100 years worth of themes to pick from. So they had kind of picked their favorites, worked to have those floats made that way. And every year is a different theme. So it's not like, oh, let's just use one from a previous year. They all had to be like redone. It was just mind blowing. It was absolutely the most mind blowing thing I'd ever seen. As a creative person and as someone who is crafty and can appreciate the time and effort that goes into not just the floats, but some of the throws that you see, like the boots that are done. So I have several now because Crew of Carrollton's like go-to throw is a boot. There is a crew called Muse that is an all-female crew, and they do shoes, like high heel shoes, and they redo them. And I actually now have one from a previous year that Donnie gave me, which was super sweet, that sits on my bookshelf and is like glitterified. Jeff's cousin Catherine showed me her collection of Muse shoes, which were amazing, absolutely amazing. Like one's done up to have like fake ice and cocktails. Again, none of this in the damn Project Life. I'm just telling y'all some crazy stuff. And then I'll get to product eventually, but basically the den was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. I'd never seen anything like that. Not a once in a lifetime, because I'm definitely, spoiler alert, we're going again next year. So spoiler alert, Jeff has already signed up for 2025, so more of that to come. But I can't wait to get more pictures next year and really kind of showcase this. It's just the spreads were really getting crazy long, and I needed to kind of like hone in. And some of the pictures I took of the floats, because they were so close up, because literally like you're bobbing and weaving, and thank God I'm little and nimble, because I was having to like ferret through this den because everything was packed in so tight, and there's other people moving through there too, trying to get to their float, get set up. It was just amazing. I really can't stress it enough. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And then we went to lunch. And I'm pretty sure after that I think his dad met us at the den. We went back to the bead store, came back to the den, or maybe we went straight. I feel like we went to the den twice. It's all a little fuzzy and foggy now, months later down the road. That's just, a side effect of back Project Life and back journaling and all the other things, but a retroactive is the right word. But we did go to lunch at Parentons, which I thought was really cool. The woman was so kind, because literally I'm the only girl. I'm the only girl, y'all. Like, I need you to get that understanding through your head that I am the only girl on this trip for the most part. So Julie is also on the trip, and there's other girls kind of like in the orbit around me, but in terms of like the nucleus, like I'm it. So we literally, as a group, all go to lunch, and I'm the only chick, and it's just hilarious to me. So the woman was so kind, and she was like, do you have any questions, baby? Okay, what do you want? And she was just so Southern and so sweet. And it's her restaurant. It's very small, and she's a huge Crew of Carrollton fan. So Donnie brought her some throws that are just for her, which was definitely helpful to our experience. And then from there, we went home, because it was raining, y'all. I mean, pouring down rain all day. So originally we were supposed to go see Julie and Kathy ride in their parade with Crew of Pontchartrain. However, it was pouring down rain. So that was not happening. I wasn't standing in the rain. It's still February, guys. It's cold. I'm not standing in the rain. I'm not trying to get pneumonia for anybody, for anything. It's just not happening. When I can sit in the dry house, and that is exactly what we did. We went home. Jeff fell asleep, but we started watching, I was rewatching season 2 of Good Omens, which personally I did like. I didn't like it as much as the first, but just throwing that out there from a watching perspective. And then I made bracelets. So very much like the spread I filmed just very recently and did the upload for last week, I made friendship bracelets. So, I mean, we're kind of in the land of bead throwing. And I kept thinking, like, as a kid, or, maybe as, a woman who's gotten all dressed up, like, I really wanted to be able to hand people and kids things like directly instead of throwing things at them. I wanted to have like a couple special things. And then one thing I definitely wanted to do was make sure all of the boys had a friendship bracelet that had Carrollton 100 or 100th ride or something. I think I did 100 Carrollton. I don't remember what they said anymore, but they were very like specific for the boys for their 100th ride. And you would be surprised at how excited these very grown-ass men were so thrilled to have these bracelets. So let's chat product really quick as I put on some like speckles. So the Good Morning card, the List It card, the For the Record card, and the Rain Rain Go Away, I am 99.99999% sure it's all from Paper Person. They're all printables. I think the Rain Rain Go Away might actually be from a physical kit that I purchased from Paper Person, but I can distinctively say the rest were printables. The Just Happy to Be Here and the Let's Stay In are from Studio Calico. Those were also printables. All the labels are Studio Calico. The stamps I used are ancient Studio Calico stamps, except for my date stamp, obviously. The alpha letters are Citrus Twist. My word phrase stickers always come from just my stash, so it's really hard to say. The blue kind of typewriter-esque labels, not typewriter, labels, I don't know. The embossed labels, is that right? I don't know. Those are ancient and they are from my stash, but were from Michael's back in the day. And then all of my little sprinkly bits, obviously I punch out my own gold stars, but the sprinkly bits are a little bit of Ellie Studio, a little bit of the Sticko Hearts, and I think that's it. I think it was just Ellie Studio, Sticko, and my sprinkly stars. So that covers product super quickly as we move into this spread. So this is it. This is the big kahuna. This is actual parade day. So parade day meant me waking up at about 4 a.m. so that we could leave. I think they even moved up our leave time. Like, okay, I don't know if this happens to you ladies out there, but like when you're traveling with a troop of gentlemen who do not, I mean, I'll at least give them this. Like Donnie had been married before and, you know, has known that ladies do take a little bit longer to get ready. He's had me visit his home before. He's visited here before. He knows I do not wake up like that. It's not a big secret. However, it was super difficult to, I was very conscious of the fact that this is a great thing to talk about. So now that I'm thinking about it, so Donnie basically treats Mardi Gras like I treat Halloween Horror Nights. So there was already this like mutual respect built in because Jeff was obviously a little bit nervous because he knows I do like to take my time getting ready. I don't like to rush. I mean, I can, but I don't like to rush, which is why I wake up hella early. And like I was very adamant, like I needed to shower first so that my hair takes 9,000 years to dry because it's long and it's thick. So, you know, we had kind of talked about a game plan, but I could tell he was really nervous. And then I told him, I was like, Donnie cares about this like I care about HHN. I would never, ever in a million years make him late to anything. And I mean, I was ready and he was like so beaming, excited and proud. Both of them were, that I was just like not that chick that took forever and made us late, which, you know, I wore as a badge of honor. But we got up very early so that we could get to House of Blues for our brunch, which was amazing. And then that last photo, so obviously that whole top row was kind of brunch vibe. So I really love the entrance to the Voodoo Garden. And I was lucky enough to kind of get like a straight shot of the alley. Then I believe Jeff took the picture of the brunch and sent it to me. But that was like one of like two brunch lines. There was one inside and one outside, and we chose to sit outside. And then inside was our band that would eventually lead our second line. Now, let me explain this to you just a touch. So at brunch, you obviously drink. Brunch started, I want to say at like, I don't know, it might have been like 6 or it might have been 7, but we might have gotten there like around 6:30 or something like that. But we were there early. So we were one of the first people to get brunch, and we got to like kind of space out our drinks, and that was really nice because you get like little drink coupons, so it's not like you're completely shit-faced before you get on your floats and stuff like that. And it's a great time for like the families to all be together and the people that are riding. It's literally the crew and family. and there's little kids running around and their stuff. It's just precious. And people obviously drinking and being a little loud and crazy. But after that, you walk in a second line, which is led by your band through the streets of New Orleans in the square and all that good stuff, all the way to where the parade float, where the boys are basically going to be bussed from and to get to their floats. So, I cannot tell you how much I loved walking in a second line at 8 something in the morning with 2 screwdrivers in my system, a full nice belly of brunch, waking up an entire city. Oh my God, people on the way to work, tourists, all kinds of stuff. Like literally people with their car windows down as we like put beads on them. I put them on everything from mirrors to people in cars. Like it was bananas. I gave like some of my bracelets out. It was just so much fun. I honestly think the aspect of it that I loved the most was the fact that it was so early in the morning, because I'm a morning person. So by 8:30, I'm like, let's do this. Like I'm very woken up. I'm very ready to go. So that was honestly one of the best things of the entire trip was second lines. I would just do second lines to the end of time. If I could only do one Mardi Gras activity, it would be second line. Like that's it. I would completely give up parades, which is really sad, but I don't need more stuff. I love bringing joy to people and like giving other people things. That's just like how I am. So that photo of Jeff and I is literally us walking out behind the second line, and it's one of my favorite pictures. I almost turned it into a 12 by 12, but it worked so perfectly like in this spread that I was like, all right, it lives here. There's a different selfie that I end up using of us for a 12 by 12. That's us on the balcony during the balcony party, which was like 2 days before this. That other photo in that row of this like very naked Buddha woman was actually in a garden patio area of a house that in between waiting for the boys' parade to start and the parades in general to start, Julie, Kathy's family, and a couple of friends took us to this house that does an open house every year. They happen to be part of Crew of Pontchartrain, so that was where the connection was, that Kathy rides with Pontchartrain. So she was kind of like our little tour guide with them. But they open up their house every year during Mardi Gras for people to tour because scenes from Interview with a Vampire were filmed in the house. And they bought the house after Katrina and redid it. The floors were all gone. Like they talked a little bit about that history, and then they walk you through the house. But they had this lovely like pool patio area, and I felt very like invasive to take a picture in the house because it's not like all done up like Interview with a Vampire. It's someone's home at this point. It's just a cool fact about the house. But I just kind of wanted a photo from the property, and I really liked this like Buddha lady. So I took a picture of that just to be able to talk about that story a little bit more. And then the bottom photos are me taking a picture, kind of almost a selfie of the just chonkiness of beads that I had on me. So I really feel like at that point you can see, because you see the ones that I can see all the different crews that I had things from at that point, because it was like at the end. So I have a Crew of Pygmalion. I have Femme Fatale beads, which are the lips ones that I was talking about. And then this is what's so bananas, and I have no idea where they came from. No idea what crew threw them out. The only logical explanation that I have is that they came from Femme Fatale, because that was the really big main parade that passed us. So we came up on Pygmalion because we thought we were late. So, like, we were running to catch these floats before we realized that it's just Crew of Pygmalion. It's fine. But that's the only logical explanation. But they were Disney beads that lit up, which, if you guys have been a part of this channel for any length of time, you'll know I am a Disney nerd. I love going to Disney. I take an annual trip to Orlando for my spooky season trip with my best friend, Tay, and I was just crazy. Like, the Disney found me all the way in New Orleans, and it just like, it felt right. And so Julie or the kids had gotten them, and they were like, you need these. So they gave them to me instantly. and they lit up, which was just even better. So I love that. And then that last photo of me is me with my mask on that Jeff gave me off the float, which was so cute. Because I had on this like obviously very loud jacket, but when you're looking at a crowd and throngs of people and we were like towards the end of their route, that it was just like, how is he gonna find me? So I had like this headband on, which you see in the previous photo, that eventually gave me a headache and made me feel very icky. I did not feel good by the time we got to the hotel where Jeff was at. I felt really, really bad. I had a bad headache with nausea to the point like I couldn't even smell food, and I was having to go to the bathroom just in case. Quite frequently, which really sucked. At the end, I was really not in a good headspace by the end of that parade day. I just did not feel good. But I can genuinely tell you, by the time we got home and like I laid down, I felt like 1,000% better the moment we got in the car and we're like headed home. Like it was just like I needed to like not be in a group setting anymore and not be in a crowded space. So it was an ups and downs kind of day. But let's talk product very, very quickly while I have a few more moments. So all of the cards, every single one of them, are very old Studio Calico cards that I've been hanging on to and trying to find a good spread for, especially the Let the Good Times Roll. I'm like, where the hell am I going to use this? And that is like a massive phrase through the Mardi Gras season. So this was its moment. The number 1, 2, and 3 cards, again, I very rarely have 3 big stories that I can tell in a spread. So this was perfect. We had brunch, we had the open house, and we had the actual parade itself. And then the big city lover. I am not a big city lover. I'm not going to lie. Not a city gal very much. Like, I think I've talked about this in some of the other parts. I'll go do a city event. It's all well and fine. But I am most comfortable in mountains and beaches and like more removed and more nature and just quiet spaces. But I do love a good, nice city trip or a day every once in a while. The Love and the XOXO and the puffy hearts that I use are from Paper Person. The obviously the little brunch me and always also Old Michael's. My gold stars I hand punch. The red stars are from Old Studio Calico product. Enamel dots, I believe, are all from Wallflower. I think I kept them all in that brand. I don't remember using another one. My labels are from Studio Calico Principles. My Disney Hour Band and Vamp that I used are from the sticker book you see me playing with now. And then the Enjoy and OMG are from the Amy Tangerine book that you can still see on the screen. I have really been striving to dive into my stash, use my product both in planner spreads, both in Project Life. It has thrilled me to no end to dive into my stash and bust things out. So this will always be one of my favorite spreads, not just for the content, but for literally how much product got pulled out and used. Like the complete fulfillment of using Project Life cards that I've literally had since probably 2014 or 15. Like, as fellow crafters, I feel like you guys are going to give me like a nice clap for that one. So let me know in the comments what you guys are working on. Have you ever been to Mardi Gras? Do you live in New Orleans? Is it like a normal thing for you? Would love to hear y'all's thoughts. But as I go through the very quick spreads, I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you, as always, for being amazing and so patient and just so kind. Feel free to leave comments and questions down below if I missed anything. And as always, let me know if you've got any suggestions or videos you'd like to see or anything like that. I always love getting a good question and answer thing going in the comments. But as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And until the next time, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Bye.